everyone, it's Kobe. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're gonna be diving deep into the dish of moussaka. Quick tip on selecting your eggplant. You wanna choose the lightest eggplant you could find in the store. Not because you're paying per pound, just because the lighter the eggplant is, it means the less seeds would be inside of your eggplant. The seeds are bitter. We're gonna try to get some of that bitterness out. But we really want to get an eggplant as smooth as possible with no seeds in it. You want to make sure that the skin of the eggplant is nice and smooth and pretty evenly looking. And remember, just the lighter eggplant, the better, in my opinion. Let's get cooking. I grab my smooth eggplant, find a nice position to lay it down so it's flat on the surface so it doesn't roll around. And I'm going to start with cutting rings of my eggplant. I want them to be just about a little over a finger thick. So about 1.5 centimeters or so. Let me cut a few of these. Now once I have my rings, I take my rings and I slice them just right down the middle, about 2/3 of the way down. I'm gonna stuff my ground beef later right in this little pocket here. At this point of the video, my audio stopped working, so I'm just gonna have to add this later in post. But here I am slicing the rest of those eggplants, just making sure to leave a little bit of space so I can connect them. Next, I'm soaking them in salt water. The salt water should take out some of the bitterness, and I'm putting a plate over it just to have them submerged in the water. Next up, I got some potatoes and I cut them the same way, although I noticed later that it wasn't the best decision. I should have just cut them into discs and made sandwiches out of them, because a potato is not really as flexible as an eggplant. But here I am cutting the potatoes. In a pot with rapidly boiling water, I add some salt and my potato pieces. I'm gonna let them blanch in this water for probably about 5 minutes just so they get soft, and then I could fill them with my ground beef. It's been a little while. I have my potatoes, I have my eggplants here. They soaked. I did not squeeze them yet. Let me show you how we do this. We just need to squeeze them as much as possible. You really wanna crush them. Just get them all the water squeezed out. Now don't worry if they break a little, it doesn't matter. One thing that happens when we're squeezing the water out of these is all the little holes are closing up. Then when we deep fry it, we won't get as much oil in our eggplant. Or at least that's the theory. And at this point, the audio crapped out again on me, but here I am crushing some garlic, chopping it up, because this is going to go into my ground beef mixture, so you're going to see that right away. Let me just finish chopping this garlic. And from this point on, the audio is pretty crappy throughout the video. I get some audio back later, but I'm just doing this for now. So here I am chopping an onion. Look at how professional I'm doing it. Learn how to chop an onion just like me. And this is also going to be going to my ground beef. I'm using only half the onion for my ground beef, and half of it I'm going to use later for the sauce. This is my chopped onion. I just put a little bit of salt and pepper on it, seasoned it right before I added a big chunk of meat. A big chunk of, come on, oh, some paprika maybe? I don't know what I put in there. Maybe it was cumin, some cumin. And there is the big chunk of, wait for it, meat. There we go. Perfect. Now I just mix that all together, get my hands all nice and dirty, and make sure to combine it. I don't want to work the meat too much because I don't want the meat to get too dense. Now it's better to use meat with the higher fat content. I was using a pretty lean ground beef for this one, but if you want more flavor, just get a fattier ground beef. You could also use ground lamb. It's gonna be just as delicious. So mix, mix, mix. My ground beef is ready, and now it's time to fill my eggplant. So I just take the eggplant,
fill it with a nice size of ground beef, and squeeze it together to make a little nice Pokemon eggplant sandwich with some delicious ground beef in the middle. Squeeze it a little bit together and put it to the side and rinse and repeat till you're done. Here I'm miserably failing with the potato that's breaking, but I'm still making it work. There we go, here are all my pieces of potato and eggplant filled with ground beef.
Okay, I got all my eggplants filled with the meat. I got my potatoes filled with meat. I had a little leftover meat, so I made some meatballs filled with meat. And now I'm gonna start with the coating and then we go frying. So this is super simple. I just have here some regular white all-purpose flour. I like to add just a bit of garlic powder, give it a little bit of flavor. Then I just like to add the tiniest little bit of baking powder. The tiniest little bit, there we go. That just helps it puff up a little bit, makes it fancy when it's frying. You really don't need the baking powder, I just do it for fun. Give this all a little fork action. Get it all combined and mixed together. I got 2 eggs. Crack my eggs into my egg bowl. Peel shells go into the shell bowl. And a little beating business to this eggs. Now that I've got my eggs all beaten, it's time for the fun part, my coating station. We're gonna do the simple flour, egg, and flour station. Let's make sure you get it all coated in flour, and goes to my coated plate. Let me grab my eggplants and carefully, away from my body, place them in the oil. I'm gonna let them fry on every side between 3 to 5 minutes, just till they're nice and golden brown.
And I guess you heard how my audio was getting messed up there, so now I'm getting back to narrating my audio later. Oh look, audio's back! Okay, it's gone. Alright, so we flip them after a couple minutes, just when they're nice and golden brown like that. And they don't have to be cooked all the way through, because they're going to cook in the sauce. Right now I added to a little bit of oil, some hot peppers, and some of that half onion from before. I'm adding a whole little can of tomato paste. If you don't have tomato paste, tomato sauce should work just fine. Now I'm letting the tomato sauce or tomato paste, if I have tomato paste, I let it brown in the oil. That just adds flavor. I let it fry off a little bit, and that's what I'm letting it do here. It just looks beautiful, and it was smelling amazing. Alright, now I'm adding a bunch of spices, so let me try to remember off the top of my head. I had some salt, some garlic powder, some black pepper, some cumin, a bunch of paprika, a little bit of chili powder I think I threw in there, a little bit of sugar, probably about a teaspoon of sugar. That just adds some flavor and balances off the sauce and the acidity of the tomatoes. Next I add a bunch of water, just till my tomato sauce becomes all nice and saucy. Oh yeah, I also added a little bit of oregano. That was another spice in there. But here we go, our tomato sauce is all nice and saucy. Now we place all our eggplants just around the pot and let them cook in the sauce for about 20 to 30 minutes. That's why we don't need to worry about everything being fully cooked when we deep fry it, because it's gonna have a chance to do it now. Cover your pot. Cover your pot. Cover
Once
your
my
pot.
tomato sauce starts boiling, I turn it down to low. And then I just like to take a little bit of my sauce and just base my moussakas so they're all submerged in delicious tomato-y goodness. Once they're all covered in sauce, I'm going to cover them and let them finish cooking for about another 15 minutes or so, and then it's time to serve.
And at this point, I lost the audio again. I could just tell you that I tasted them. They were obviously amazing. I even got some B-roll shots, just, look at these ready stuff. Another quick tip, you can also bake the moussaka in an oven. It just takes longer and it gets more dishes dirty. But that's why I just prefer to use the one pan method, make everything in the same pot, in the same pan, and I'm good to go. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. Sorry about all the audio difficulties. Hopefully next time we'll get it better. Just I had to share this recipe because it tastes amazing, and thank you for bearing with me. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, just to make sure the YouTube algorithms keep on liking our videos. Thank you for all the support, and I will see you next time.